So it was definitely, I got to meet a lot of people from Beulah, and I know a lot about Beulah, and apparently it's one of those towns where I swear I can go there now and I can go name off everyone in Beulah in 20 years. And like I said, every night we get to charge, and that's where I got to meet most of the scouts. So I did get to meet. It was a weird thing because I would show you on the map, but so up in like one area was all the people from an area. So to the north of us was the Southern Americans, so Georgians, Alabamans, South Carolinians. So up here was where the all them slept. But over here in 2012 or 20, which is kind of strange, and 21 was where people from Florida and South Carolina spent their time, and they would come down to our sub camp, which is 14, and right there is ours. So you go down from the water, and right there was ours. The only thing I actually have to complain about our campsite is it was right downwind of the porta-johns, so every morning and every afternoon you got to smell the full porta-johns. And I kid you not, you will never find anything more disgusting than a porta-john at a jamboree. Any questions?
I'm just wondering, how many patches did you start with?
I think about 12, 20?
I think it was 12.
12?
You started with 12.
I started with 12, and now I've ended with about like 50 because I traded one whole strip for another council strip. And for your guys' sake, so here, take a look at this. So that was my lanyard. I had to wear that every day.
It's got a green tag.
Here you go. Here's my neckerchief. Take a look at that. Here you go. I'll show you my patch. So it's on the back of my shirt right now. All right. There we go. So this was the shirt that we were supposed to wear every day. I wore my Class A, and nobody else wore their Class A, period. Like, the only time you would wear your Class A was from the coolest moments, which were the closing and opening ceremonies. Which
it's too hot for the Class A.
Well, I wore it every day, and I wore it in a 5K. So, yeah. And here's our patch. So, as you can see. But I had to contend, like, when trading patches, the hardest thing is that we'd have to, like...
Turn around again.
Oh.
Strike pose.
Which way to the beach? Is like our patrol motto, which is if it's not yours, break it. Or no, that was our troop one, and our patrol was steal it if it's not yours. That was just kind of our joke amongst ourselves because we always had to make up stuff for ourselves and we were never around each other. Only times we were ever actually together as a patrol was breakfast and supper, and you would never see anybody else the entire day, almost guaranteed. It was a miracle that I actually found them two at Pioneering. It was only from Ken that I learned that they were down there, so I went looking. Well, I didn't go looking for them, I just looked every day by there, and eventually I did see them. So it was definitely an interesting time. But two real big highlights of the whole camp. I mean, I kind of thought it was a little bogus at first, some of the stuff, but I think the biggest thing that was there was the opening and closing ceremonies. Because the opening ceremony, they had like a bunch of like, I don't think the scout executive showed up for the first one. No, he did. He was there. And they had like a bunch of famous, like they had Miss America, Sergeant Slaughter, and then they had a bunch of parachutists. They had helicopters fly over, and they even had the 1812 Overture played to live cannon fire. If anybody of you ever hear that done in your lifetime, please, dear, call me so I can go see this. The ending ceremony was just as cool. They had, anybody ever heard of Switchfoot? Yeah, we had Switchfoot come and play live for us. Bob Mazuka, the Scout CEO, or
Scout Executive.
Scout, I think they call him the Chief Scout Executive, was there, and he gave a long speech. He actually drove up in a, no, the first time he rappelled down, and then they had the board members drive up in an AVP, so they had him drive up in this armored vehicle, and they hopped out playing. I can't remember, it starts at like, oh. You know that one? Anybody? Yeah, it's Disturbed. They had the Disturbed song going as they pulled up in an ATV. They also had like a bunch of guys on the M60s. They also had the Golden Knights and also the Golden Daggers. So they had the Special Forces parachutes and also the regular parachutes come in. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing to be there. I know they made recordings, but I don't think anything will beat ever being there. Also, like, people took things and had them. I'll hand my hat around. The pins, well, we had the North Dakota pin and we threw that around. These two were earned. At the venturing crew area, I actually got to meet the man in charge of Henry Repeating Rifles. He was just there randomly talking about his rifle. Actually, he was just standing there trying to sell it. to people. I earned this one for just shooting in it and for winning. So if I knocked down like 5 targets in a row really fast compared to the guy next to me, and what we'd do was always just go in groups of 2 and we'd intentionally lose for the other person. You get to try the Night Stalker, which had this really cool like flashlight laser, and it also had a night vision goggle on it, and it was pretty much just a Beretta Storm. So for winning that, you got this patch. And also, so when I was talking about throwing around stuff, this is what we threw around. So everyone kind of had something to throw around. Some guys had Cincinnati cards because Bicycle Cards is based out of Cincinnati. And we had these pins to throw around for North Dakota. Just take a look at my hat. That actually, I should probably wash that. Just be careful, you might like get a little too much DNA from me off that thing. So yeah, everything was represented there. Now, like I mentioned, we could earn rings. So the rings that I earned were the 5K. So one morning, yeah, I had to wake up at like 4:30. I didn't wake up at 4:30. The race starts at 5. So I woke up at 4:50, and I ended up running to that race like no other. So I ran about a mile to the 5K. Then I ran in the 5K in my full uniform and hiking boots, wearing all this. And this is what I wore just about every day because the switch stuff didn't like really feel comfortable. So I ended up actually running in the 5K like that, and that was really fun. And that was a whole rocker to yourself. The other rocker I earned was Duty to God, which meant I had to go talk to my chaplain, who was a Native American shaman. And I also had to, and they also had a Native American service. They had a service for everybody, and I ended up going to Lutheran service. That was a big thing. And then the other thing you had to do was go find your tent, which was not hard at all, because once you got over to the scouting exhibits, the Lutherans literally said, just follow the clicking and you will find the tent. And what they were talking about was this thing. And you could hear this anywhere in the camp, but it got very loud, almost to like ear-buzzingly loud in that tent, because everyone would just sit there and just click this, and you could just follow it down the way and find anybody who had been to the Lutheran tent. So that was the other thing you had to do. You also had to lead in grace, and I led in grace just about every day with the official patrol Jamboree prayer, which was, "Dear God, thank you for the food, amen." So that was definitely an interesting experience. Here, give it a click. I know you all are having ADHD professionals. So you can take a look at it. So I can't remember who I went shooting with air rifle, but he said he was like one of the best in the nation and like about pretty much an Olympian at it. So one of them was. The instructors are all very, very good. So there's lots and lots and lots of professionals there, and lots of people you'll probably never find. Here's the Lutheran worship service, just to take a look at it, not pushing religion or anything, just a part of it. So there was a service on some... no, that was BB gun. BB gun. Well, it was air rifle. We shot...
Why is it all like that?
Because I'm a good shot.
It looks like a...
Because I'm a shot. Don't argue.
It doesn't look all color. It looks like you shot with a paint.
Yeah, when you shoot it, the black flakes off and it disappears. And since I shot... You know,
it's like a paintball.
Yeah,
it looks like you shot with a paintball gun.
Looks like I shot it with a paintball gun, yeah. So patch trading was big, and a lot of people got caught up in that. In the conservation area, if you saw already, there was a lot of stuff you could do. So I got to learn about the Army Corps of Engineers, and if you guys need an Eagle project, you can find the Lutherans. You hear a click. So, everybody loved those. So another, the Sea Scout whistle was another big one. So another big thing was the conservation area. I think I set that around already, but they had everybody. They had people I'd never heard of, like the Land and Soil Conservation Act, which I've only heard about in textbooks from the American Depression and never since, but apparently they're actually fairly active all across the nation. The Army Corps of Engineers said that if you ever need an Eagle project, and I hope you're listening, all you have to do is find one of their offices, walk in and ask for it, and they say that they literally print them out this high. They will take you to campsites you'll never get to go to unless you build the trail there, and that's what they need you to do. That's one of the ideas that they have. They also need things like picking up trash and so forth and so on. But the great thing about that is they'll pay for it, they'll hand you the documents you need to do it, and they'll pretty much help you the whole way doing it. So guys, hope you guys got some good Eagle projects out of that.